All right. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Rodriguez again, and we are thinking about ourselves as readers. And as you look at what I have in front of me in this video, it looks like a long list. And I see some positives and negatives, which is pretty much what I have written down here. It's a long list of reading memories that I recall from my own life. Now, if I want to improve as a reader, if I want to know myself as a reader, I need to get to know what have I been through as a reader? What's been positive or what's been good? What's been negative or not so good? Because all of those memories have shaped the way I read, what I read, and my attitude towards reading at times. So I'm not going to read everything word for word, but what I did with this list is I thought back to as far back as I can remember reading, which was about 92, 94 when I was a little kid. And I just tried to think about what were some important moments involving reading in my life. And if they were a good memory, there's a positive sign. If it was a not so good memory, it's a negative sign. So I'll share a few now. My first one was when I visited the library with my grandmother in 94, 95, before I started kindergarten. And I just started to enjoy books, right? And that helped me get into books early on. And another big thing for me was my first words were because of picture books. So early on as a little kid, books were a big positive part of my life. But then we noticed here's some negative going on. In first through third grade, some of the books were too easy for me, which made me a little bored when I was in elementary school. And even though I did well on our TOS test, I was really bored and I felt very forced to read while I was in school. So I felt my love for reading kind of going away. And I see here in 99 to '02, more boredom started to pop up, right? And this was because I didn't bother asking my parents for books at home. I just kind of went home, did my homework, and books were not a big deal for me when I was at home. One good one I want to point out is I love Resident Evil, the video games. So when I was in sixth grade, I fell in love with the video game and found that there was a novel series to it, which really got me back into reading for fun. So that kind of reeled me back in. It wasn't always great. In sixth and seventh grade, I struggled to understand poetry, which kind of frustrated me a little bit. I had a great eighth grade teacher. One highlight, a personal highlight, is in 2005, my sister was born, so I would make it a point to read to her, and that kind of got me into the fun side of reading a little bit. In high school, I got good grades, but I fake read a lot, which was kind of a negative thing. I had a boring book in 10th grade, and when I got to a summer English class at Cornell University, I realized that yes, I made good grades, but I wasn't a strong reader. So I had to learn how to read quickly, how to read difficult readings. And 2008 was really a good year for me growing as a reader. And moving on, I had a great 12th grade teacher, Ms. Millier at Davis High School. She got me thinking about poetry in a really good way that I hadn't before. As a freshman at Cornell, I got really upset and I felt really defeated because my grades were not where they should have been, and a lot of it had to do with reading. It made me realize that I was not a strong academic reader. Lots of information was a big challenge for me. I found sociology and anthropology, these two subjects, when I was a college student. And really, by finding something I loved, that's what helped me become a good reader. I learned how to take away what was important, and I learned how to read quickly, remember things a lot clearer. I was like thrown to the sharks with reading, but I loved it when I found what I was passionate about. My grades got better once I started writing as I read. It helped me understand material a lot better. And in recent times, I love spending time at Barnes & Noble and getting lost in young adult fiction. I like to recommend books to students, and being at Barnes & Noble helps me make that possible. My only negative now, as an adult, I wish I had more time to read for fun. I really enjoy reading, but I do feel a little bit of a struggle, like I may not have enough time to read. So that's just a little bit of my positives and negatives in my reading memories. Now, if you try this, you may find a lot of positives or you may find a lot of negatives, and that's fine. The purpose of our reading memories is so we get to know ourselves as readers so that we can know what we need to work on or what skills we may need to keep up if we want to keep improving as a reader. So as you're thinking about your own life as a reader, think about what's been great And maybe what's been a challenge? Were there teachers you enjoyed? Were there books that really bored you? Or were there classes that you found books that you really related to? Anything related to reading has shaped you as a reader. So I encourage you to think about your own reading memories and how they have shaped you today in the present.